How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Continues to Tick. And as always, the dividend portfolio review, this dividend journey, mine, yours, whoever you know in your life that's doing it, we are all on our journey and it continues, right? We're all utilizing this time itself, leveraging it to our advantage. And obviously, if you're a dividend investor, you have a plan. Maybe you make some adjustments here or there. But what we all utilize is time, as time continues to tick. The topic for today's video, friends, is going to be the power of Reframe. I've been going through a lot of adjusting in my own, budgets and all this and that, right? Switching jobs, losing some income. A lot of adjustments have been going on in my life over these last couple months. You guys have been seeing this unfold for me. I've had to make some very difficult decisions. I've had to reframe my mind. So the topic for today is that. It's going to be on the power of Reframe, some things that I've learned. So that's going to be towards the end of the video. In addition, friends, at the very, very end of the video, I want to give you guys a channel update, some thoughts that I've been pondering, and I want to share them with you. You can give me your feedback, thoughts, things like that. But I have some channel updates. But before we get to either of those, we got the portfolio review. And friends, the journey continues, right? Here we are now at $91,782.21. I wish you well right now. The markets are, I guess there's a lot of turbulence, right? I guess I could say they're a little shaky at the moment. Every time there's a new president or a change of office, and, a lot of politics are obviously more in the forefront right now. When there's all this mix in the air, the markets will tend to react more. I've been investing for a couple years now. I imagine a lot of you who've been here even longer than me just see it as a little turbulence, right, on a flight. It's a little bit rocky, but for the most part, our trajectory, our course is still the same. And that's the beauty about being a dividend investor. If your plan is set, you just allow time to pass. People are going to change office, the president's going to change, political forces are going to switch from time to time, and regardless, you just stay course. Going to the all-time chart here, I started this portfolio back in 2020. It was like right after that big wave of the pandemic, and back then I thought it was a bad time. And ever since then, there's been moments of turbulence. But as you see, the trajectory, the course, utilizing my plan, my strategy, everything continues to go one way and one way only, which is forward, but up. Right? And that's how these markets move. For the newer investors, you may see a lot of this turbulence and it may spook you, and that's okay. It spooked me too at the very beginning. It very rarely spooks me now. I tend to view it as just part of the course, as part of the journey. And over time, you will see that. You'll see the greater picture, which is as long as you invest, right, and don't spend your money on resources that will deplete, things that will depreciate, you will continue to move forward financially and elevate financially in this life. And that's just how this goes. I just figured I'd mention that in case anybody needed to hear that. Right now, it's a very shaky time, but that's just how I view it. And this is the all-time chart. This is the graph here. In terms of my percentage return, I think it's worth mentioning, so I'll show you. Here I am in my holdings. This is where M1 tends to have the best picture of my portfolio performance. My cost basis overall is $66,641. The value right now, as you saw, of my portfolio is $91,782. And my unrealized gain, percentage-wise, it's almost 38%. Unrealized gain numbers-wise, it's $25,000. $25,140. That's it, friends. That's how my portfolio is doing. I continue to be pretty content with that, especially everything that's been going on. The fact that I am able to hover over the 90K mark, I'm happy with that. We did touch and kind of barely get over, 100K a couple months ago, and I was very happy about that. I was able to go from zero to $100,000 in the span of maybe 4.5 years. And my trade, the thing that I do for work is I'm an RN. I also live in one of the highest cost of living areas, which is California. And I make a good amount, but I also spend quite a bit here. Things are very expensive. I also live in the surrounding Bay Area, for perspective. I don't have kids. I do have 2 dogs, so I am part of the Dinkwad community. I have a long-term partner, domestic partner. That is me. That's my current setup. And I was able to do that in the span that I did. And I'm very proud of myself for that. Having taken a pay cut recently, as you guys know, I've had to make a lot of adjustments, and I'll speak on that towards the end of the video. But as far as the year to date, just this year so far, this is how it's been moving. So these are those moments of turbulence, like I've been mentioning. It hasn't really been pretty, if I have to be honest, but goes up and down. And lately with all the political forces going through the markets, I guess it's expected. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of instability, and we'll just play the game. I don't like playing it, but we'll play it. But going back to the all-time charts, friends, I want to show you here just in terms of my sectors, right? My best performing sector continues to be tech. If I click on it, obviously, if you've been here, you're going to know it's NVIDIA. It's my golden egg. I haven't bought shares in years, but because it has done so well over time, it's grown exponentially over time. Here it is, right? It's a presence. And then apart from that, Apple is in here. What is it? Oracle is actually the second best performer. IBM, Apple is actually the fourth best. But as far as like my best sectors, tech is on top. And followed by tech, I do have financials. I have energy, industrials, index funds, ETF, consumer discretionary. The only ones that are in the red, just going down to the bottom, is healthcare, still down 14%. Healthcare is one of those things that's hard to run as a business. I'm seeing just over time. And then consumer staples, minus 8%. So when I did sell that chunk of my portfolio, I sold practically all of it in healthcare. And I'm glad I did. It continues to just kind of get beat. And as far as what I'm holding in here, it's just Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer. Johnson & Johnson, looking at it, I haven't peeked in here in a moment. It's actually in the green, 5%. As far as the activity section, friends, I think the main thing of significance here is, this $2,850 withdrawal. And I'll show you and explain it to you. But overall, apart from that, everything in the green here are dividend payouts, a couple buys here or there. The one thing that's significant on this page is this deposit of $25. This one here on January 10th, this was the first time I deposited in months. And I try to do it every week. I held back a little bit, tested the waters a little bit. With my most recent trip going to Tucson, Arizona, a couple expenses there. I took it easy. I only did it once, and I waited. And as you can see, there's a $2,850 withdrawal. This was me actually utilizing the M1 Finance borrow feature because we were leaving at an awkward time. I didn't get, my pay from the state yet because I get paid once a month. Guys. So the timing didn't work out. And I was like, well, let me lean into this. Let me try this. So I borrowed $2,850 from my portfolio just for a couple days. It cost me like $4, I believe, in interest. I borrowed it for like a week or so. And here is the bill payment, $4.71. And I paid it off right away as soon as I got paid by my state employer, which pays me again once a month. I'm going to continue to throw that in there. That was just a one and only thing. It's all cleaned up and done. It was actually cool to have used that feature. I got the money pretty quick. And I'll show you here in my portfolio where it tells me how much I could borrow. And if you use M1 Finance, you could see the same feature for yourself. But that's cleaned up. I just thought I'd mention it. Again, everything in the green here are dividend payouts. And I'm getting some significant ones here. $15 by JPM, AMT $13, AT&T $15, Verizon $18, and 5s and 4s. And it's actually increasing pretty well here over time. The other thing I want to mention, where is it? I have to look for it right here. So this last Friday, or I guess earlier in the week, I think on Monday, I turned on my feature for weekly deposits once again. I'm holding my breath a little bit because I don't want to celebrate yet, but I think I'm over the hump, right? Having taken the pay cut has really made me adjust and budget my finances, especially with the increase in inflation and everything, right? It's really hitting the middle class. I thought I was shielded, making over 100K here in California. And then my partner also works as well. It's getting there. If I feel it, I can only imagine the people that make less than I do feel it too. So very rocky economy at the moment. But I've turned on the interval again. So $25 every Friday is the plan moving forward. From where I stand today, like I said, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I think we're in the clear to at least invest $25 every week, which is about $100 a month. Currently, I do have my drip activated, which I'll show you how much I get paid in dividends, but it's about $200 a month. So with my 100, with my drip, that's about $300 a month going into my dividend portfolio. So that's kind of my plan right now. And here are some buys from that funnel. So the one thing I did want to mention, like I was saying, is the margin, right? The borrow account. Here's a feature. There's other features here on the side bars here. But if you have your M1 Finance portfolio, you're able to borrow on margin. Just make sure you pay it back. You know, I'm not going to play with it in terms of investing my money, but when I'm in a pinch, right, and I need to take out some money, and I know I'm going to pay it right back, like I did with my rent, in this unique scenario that I found myself in, it worked out. So it was actually really neat. So for $4, I stressed a lot less, and it was worth it to me. So in a pinch, you know, use it. And I do want to show you guys my dividend income. So I like switching it to the next 12 months. It's the projection, right, of my portfolio moving forward this year. Average monthly income is $202. So like I was saying, the 200 plus the 100 I'm technically putting in, it's about $300 every single month going into my portfolio. And I'm telling you this because I'm going to use this data here, this information, to explain the power of Reframe, which gets me into the topic for today's video here towards the end of the video, is the power of Reframe. So around June of last year, I was making $134,000 working as a prison nurse. I took a pay cut. I worked from home. It was technically a job promotion. You know, I'm now a nurse consultant, still working for the state, but it required like a $24,000 pay cut, right? But the work-life balance has been exceptional. It has been exceptional, friends. It has been amazing. It has been great to my life. And honestly, when I look at the numbers, you know, the budgeting was hard here, but I can do it, right? It's manageable. And what I get in exchange for those $24,000, this work-life balance, to me, it's worth it. I drive my car less. I pay less in gas. I eat better. I drink my own coffee at home. I'm way more present in myself and in my house with my partner. Can be around my dogs more. My job itself is actually very flexible because it is salaried, but there's no overtime. Like I never have to work overtime. And you know, I travel every once in a while, which can keep me on my toes and make it interesting. Financially, it was a very big struggle. I've enjoyed it now, right? Having kind of made it over the hump, as you've seen and as I'm trying to explain. Like now I can actually invest $25 every week. But the power of Reframe that I want to bring up is this, right? I make a certain amount of money. And for me at the very beginning, when I took this pay cut, it was making me feel like I really wasn't making enough. I feel like I needed more money. And that on its own can be a detriment to someone's life, right? This idea that you need more money, when in actuality, what you have is already enough, right? And don't get me wrong, I still have this hunger to go make more money and this drive to go, you know, increase my financial position. But having to budget as hard as I did, had to make, you know, some difficult financial decisions, like pay off my car early, sell part of my dividend portfolio and things like that, right? Like really cut back and budget on finances, you know, looking at my monthly expenses. It really forced me to focus on Reframe. Instead of thinking I needed more money to survive, it made me realize I already had enough to live, right? To actually live, not just survive. And that was the power of Reframe. Like I sold some of my dividend portfolio. It paid off my car. That opened up a $400 car payment amount of money every month for me. I went through my monthly expenses and I was slashing some things I really didn't need, right? I didn't need those things, like some of these subscriptions. It's quite easy. You know, I still have some student loan debt, which is quite a bit, but my payment each month is around, you know, let's see, like $280, right? Every month. And I could pay that off, but that's going to be a good chunk of maybe like 13 grand or 14 grand, something like that. And for now, I'm just holding it on a leash like it's my pet, and we'll walk with it. At some point, if I also wanted to pay that off, I could, and then that would open more money to live now. My whole point to this is ask yourself from time to time, sit with yourself, and see if you actually need more money or if what you have is enough. And one avenue, right, if you're a dividend investor, if you have the drip activated, you have to count that income too. I wasn't even counting that income. I could have stopped dripping my portfolio. And as you see, I would get an extra $200 on average every month. Those $200 I could have used in my pocket back then a couple months ago and really kind of helped my position. But I let it drip. and I kind of forgot that it existed. But again, if you reframe that, I was putting in $200 every month into my dividend portfolio, even when I was telling myself, saying it here on video, that I wasn't investing anything. It didn't feel like I was actually putting anything in, but I was still investing actively into this dividend portfolio. That's the power of compounding, right? Of the compound interest. What is it, the eighth wonder of the world, or however they say it is. But again, I had to reframe for that. And I did that recently when I was looking at my finances, and I felt stable now to start depositing again into this dividend portfolio. It was that reframe of, no, I've actually been investing $200 every single month. This whole entire time, I feel like I've been struggling. So I have been investing, and that made me feel a lot better. And then I reframed it the other way. And if I really found myself in a bad position again, I have $200 that I can pocket each month. And that would help a lot in certain moments of my life. I think it would have helped months ago, but at that time I didn't even see it. That's hindsight. But again, it's just that adjustment of the reframe. It's depending on how you look at it. And then I utilize that example of reframe for my current financial position, where before I was making $24,000 more, and I felt like I needed that to survive. I mean, that's lifestyle creep, or however they say it, right? Creeping up in your lifestyle. I felt like I needed that. And when I lost that money, I felt like I really needed to make up for it. When in actuality, I already had enough. What I make now, I'm realizing, is enough. And for me, focusing on work-life balance, focusing on things I enjoy, those are the things that, for me, the way I want to live my life, have continued to give me and feed into me energy, as opposed to taking energy away and investing that energy into trying to make more money. But don't get me wrong, friends, it's a balance. I still am hungry. I still have a drive to make more money, but I'm realizing that with budgeting, cutting back, a simple reframe, you actually may be making enough, especially if you're making $113,000 like I am, living in California with a partner who also works. Like, having your car paid off, you're doing well. And I think that's just something I needed to tell myself. And if some of you guys needed to hear it, I think it was important to mention. So practice the sense of reframe in your own life, and just know you're still on trajectory. You're still on path to getting to where you want to go. And friends, just switching gears, right? I did want to mention a little bit about my channel. For those that have been on this journey with me a long time, you guys know I used to upload every single week. Videos used to look a lot different. I used to add visuals and things like that. I've always been working in the prison. I've always been working as I've been running this channel. I've always enjoyed this channel. I've enjoyed running this channel. I do it as a financial, journal to myself. And over time, I've seen more people join this journey and find something in this of value. Maybe it's motivation or inspiration. A lot of people have reached out saying thank yous, and I've always appreciated that. One thing that I'll always say is, regardless if I upload videos here or if I keep it all to myself, my journey, my drive of investing will always be there. I've just wanted to, record these videos and upload them to YouTube. This whole thing came up from that, right? Like this channel, this community. I'm only bringing this up, friends, because I'm seeing a lot of my energy has been going to other avenues, and I've been neglecting this channel a little bit, understandably, right? For myself. I have another channel. It's called Male Nurse Mentor. It's actually doing better than this channel. It's getting a lot more traction. I started it after this channel, and it's been outgrowing this channel, already outgrown it. It's another interest of mine, right? I'm a nurse. It's for nurses. I've created a website, things like that. It's taking bandwidth away from this. And one thing I'm realizing is every time I upload a video here, I want it to be authentic. I want it to be something I enjoy doing. So I'm playing and pondering with the idea of uploading once a month. It might be a change that you see. I'm unsure, right? I may still upload every 2 weeks. I may switch it to once a month. I don't know yet. But just don't be surprised if at some point you see me upload less on this channel. But don't take that as a sense of me not investing or giving up on my own journey. I'm still going to invest. I'm still going to be a dividend investor. I'm still on my journey. I'm still here. If you have any questions, you want to reach out. But I just figured it'd be good and be transparent to let you guys know. I've seen a lot of dividend channels over time give up and stop uploading, and it's hard to know what happened with those people. But for me, friends, my slogan, you guys know, my channel name is Time Continues to Tick. As long as time continues to pass, friends, you, I, whoever it is, we got to continue to invest. We got to leverage into time and utilize it. All that out the way, all that word salad out the way. I may upload once a month moving forward, maybe every 2 weeks. My structure is going to change. It may not be as consistent as it's always been, but just know I'm still a dividend investor. I'm still going to be here, but I'm only going to make videos when I enjoy making them. And I just want to be transparent and let you guys know. I care about you guys viewing this as motivation and inspiration, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging out to dry. Just letting you guys know in case you see any changes in upload frequency. But with that news out the way, friends, as always, continue on your journey. You can do this. It's going to be worth it. It just takes time. Let's continue, friends. I'll see you on the next one.